This is the EVP Podcast.
Welcome to the EVP Podcast. I am Beaker, and with me I have...
Ghosty McGhostface. And I am DVO. Welcome back, Ghosty. Hey,
probably
guys.
the weirdest intro I've ever done. Been podcasting for like 5-6 years, and that's probably the weirdest intro I've ever done.
It was strange, but it's okay.
But welcome.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to the EVP Podcast.
The three of us are all back again.
Yes,
I'm
I
back.
mean, we went 2 weeks without all three of us being here.
It was, huh? Yes.
Someone had the gout of the toe.
Oh, my gosh. It felt like someone had a hot knife stabbing me in my toe. It was miserable. I couldn't even walk.
And someone else ran away to Texas.
I had to go visit some places I haven't been before.
I'll tell you right now, I have chemical burns on both my legs
Oh, man.
that I got today at work, and I'm still here recording.
Oh, it was today?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it was today.
No, I
Okay.
left work early to monitor my
Oh,
my chemical burns
jeez.
to make sure that it was mainly it was just, I got the chemicals on my socks too, and I didn't want to kind of walk around wearing my big heavy work boots without any socks.
Right, yeah.
So
What was
So I
it?
left.
What did you get on you?
it's called Enforce K. It's like a foam cleaner that you use to clean the floors and stuff.
Jeez.
It wasn't diluted.
Don't miss that shit, that's for sure.
You know, fortunately, I was kind of smart and sort of knew what to do with the burn, and I ran it underwater, and it looks like it was only like a first
Peed on
degree
it?
burn. Yeah, I peed on
He
it.
let me pee on it.
Yeah.
That'll put down the
Yeah,
burn
any
pain.
kind of sting, it'll get rid of it.
It was all that beer pee. That you
Yeah,
had
it was
in
pretty
you.
much just water at that
Just
point.
drop
Yeah.
trout and say, someone pee on me, please.
Pee on my burns.
Wasn't the jellyfish sting?
Neutralize the burn. It boings.
Not that peeing on your leg on a jellyfish thing works.
It won't
anyway,
do
but
anything for jellyfish.
No, it won't do anything.
It's there for laughs is all.
Pretty much.
It's just anybody gets stung, like watch this, someone's gonna pee on them.
They did that
I
on
will
Practical
let me
Jokers.
pee on you.
They did that on Practical Jokers. It was kind of funny.
I think that sounds familiar. I think I saw something like that.
Did someone pee on them?
Yeah, there was one of their friends. They actually hired someone to come and pee on them. It was pee on Sal.
That is hilarious.
So this is a paranormal show. There's ghosts and jokes. Ghosts like
Jokes
jokes.
and jokes.
Ghosts and jokes. Welcome to Ghosts and Jokes.
Do you guys want to hear an interesting story that happened to me today?
Yeah.
All right. So, you know, when you wake up, your vision's a little foggy, right?
Go on.
So, and when I wake up, because I wear corrective eyewear,
It's even more foggy.
it's a little bit more foggy. So,
I know the feeling.
yes.
For those watching on the YouTubes, you can see.
I'm the only one with perfect vision.
So, I don't know why my baby woke up really early this morning. She was just kind of crying. She's not a great sleeper anyway. And so, my wife sleeps with her in the baby room. And she woke up crying, so she came into my room, our room, me and my wife's room, and just crying. My wife soon followed, and my baby trying to get up on my bed. My bed's really tall, so I had to pick her up, and I put her. So again, I'm laying on my bed, and I'm facing. What I'm facing is the window, the front of the house window. To the left is the entrance to the room. To the right is the walk-in closet. So she's crying. I pull her up, put her on my chest, kind of like rub her back, like what's going on, baby? My wife comes in. She goes to the bathroom, and with my foggy vision, I think I see a shadow head peek out of my walk-in closet, peek out, and look at me. And you know, it's hard to tell. I have cloudy vision, but my baby turns and looks towards the closet, and she's got pretty good peripheral and things like that, and like good sound. So it just seemed like a head kind of popped out of my closet to just kind of see what's going on and then pop back in. So I kind of stare to see what happens. I was just kind of staring towards my closet and nothing else happened. So I was like, interesting. You know, I think I see a shadow head. My baby also turns towards the closet, which is, again, my baby's facing me on my chest. And so she turns, like almost turns around to kind of look towards the closet and kind of pauses crying for a second. So anyway, interesting, right?
That is interesting.
Later on in the evening, I decided I'm going to make some macaroni and cheese. and I'm gonna put everything away, and I can't find the lid to the milk anywhere. You just screw off the lid, pour a little bit of milk in there, put the lid back on. I didn't put the lid back on right away, and I can't find the lid anywhere to the stupid milk. I'm looking all over the place, can't find it, so I just put the milk in the fridge with no lid. Later, I come back into the kitchen later, and it's on the counter, the lid of the milk. Did I just miss it at some point? I mean, possibly, but it did seem kind of weird that all of a sudden the lid to the milk was on the counter, next to where the milk was with no lid. So,
Were you wearing your glasses at the time?
well, I didn't need to. It was the middle of the day, so I didn't really need to in my kitchen. But actually, my vision is not that bad. So, so the baby passed out on the couch, and I just walked up into my closet, in my room, towards my closet. I said, "Hey, I don't know who's up here. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what you're doing, but you popped your head out. My baby might have seen you. That's not cool anymore. Gots to go." So, I don't know what will happen, but just thought that was a pretty interesting story today.
That's pretty interesting. You know what else was interesting from that story?
What?
That you call your daughter's room the baby room.
Well, she's a baby.
You call her room the baby room? Like, that's just the name of the room?
The baby's room?
Well, no, it just sounded like you called it the baby room.
Maybe. I don't know what's weird about it, but okay.
It just sounds funny. The baby room.
All right.
I don't know. It just sounded funny.
I'm just shrugging my shoulders over here.
That's special.
So anyway, interesting event.
That is
possibly
pretty
today.
cool. I think she saw. I bet you saw something.
Very possible. The way that she paused, because I saw it, I just kind of looked. She kind of paused crying and almost turns around to kind of look towards.
Did you look at it first and then make her look at it by you looking at it? Maybe.
So I was again laying there, and I thought I saw something, so I just kind of looked over. But I don't think me looking would have paused her from crying. Because my wife also walked towards the bathroom, and I thought maybe my wife caused a shadow, but no, because the window was in front of me. If my wife would have done anything, it would have cast a shadow behind me against the wall, not in front of me towards the window. And again, my wife walked, from my vision, she walked towards the right into the bathroom, and the head popped out from the left, towards the left, out of the closet. So just like thinking debunking reasons, I just found it interesting.
No, that's kind of like the movements they do too. They like stay hidden and then just kind of.
Yeah. So I had to go up there later on and say, "Hey, you got to go."
I've seen that in a lot of videos, like on some of the shows where you see a spirit just kind of pops the head out real quick, pops it back in.
Right. Yeah. Being nosy ass ghost, or whatever it was. Who knows? But like it was very shadowy, just black, looked like a shadow. But I don't know what would have caused a shadow in that direction towards the window.
Yeah, most likely it was just a shadow person. If you saw it like that too, I don't know what else. I don't know. Spirits usually don't look like shadows unless it's a shadow person.
Right. So yeah, just again, my vision's a little fuzzy in the mornings. So, but the fact that my daughter paused crying to look towards my closet made me like,
Did she resume crying after that, or was she
yes,
just done?
yeah, she did.
That's
I
weird.
think so. She was like, okay, wow, mom, come out of the bathroom.
What is this? Oh, this is scary. Cry.
Yeah.
I wonder if babies even, if they saw that even bothers them. To
I
make
don't
them
know.
think that, because like to them, like what would be considered scary, I guess, like, I don't know.
Well, like sometimes we'll go upstairs and turn, getting ready for bed, and we'll turn all the lights off on the main floor. And if she'll just be like on the landing, on the top floor, if she's just at the landing, be kind of playing, and she looks down and sees me and my wife coming up the stairs, kind of out of the darkness, all of a sudden, she will like scream and run, And we're like, "What's wrong, baby? It's just us." And then she's fine. Yeah. So she does have some type of fear.
Okay.
You big scary monster, you.
Because I'll just go down, maybe like turn off
Let's
the
go
light,
traumatize her.
grab something from downstairs, then come up the stairs, and she doesn't know I was downstairs, and then
She just sees you coming up.
just sees this. Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
So she does sense fear, but
Shook her out of that. My nieces and nephews, I tell them not to go in the basement because the monster will get them, and they're like, "Let's go find the monster." They're like 3 and 4 years old. Let's go find it. I'm like, "No, I'm the monster. Just go back upstairs."
I thought you should scare Dale. I go monsters and puppets. Go get Dale.
Well, because I was scared as shit as a kid.
You're scared of puppets, like
Saw some scary movies.
like
where the
ventriloquist dummies.
Yeah,
type.
where like I can't remember the name of the movie, but this damn ventriloquist dummy was killing people.
Probably like Goosebumps.
No, this was pre Goosebump.
This
was
sounds like a Tales from the Crypt episode.
I don't know what it
Yeah,
was.
that'd be
No,
a
it
good
was
one.
a movie. I remember this
You're
damn
watching
movie.
Puppet Master?
No, Puppet Master wasn't nothing like this. This was a ventriloquist dummy. And this thing, I remember some lady brought it home, and then this thing was like, every time she looked at it, it was in a different place, and it was in a different position. And then she was like taking a shower, and it was all like she was feeling like someone was in there creeping around. And
Okay.
I remember she looks underneath the door, and then the puppet like drops down, and they're looking at each other eye to eye. This was in the 80s. I remember seeing this as a little kid, and that scared the shit out of me.
And I used it to scare
Against
you.
me. You used it against
It
me.
almost sounds like something from like Tales from the Crypt or like the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, it does. It does. a
It
little
sounds
bit.
like a Tales from the Crypt, but no, this was like its own movie. I remember watching it with Tyrell,
Okay.
and yeah, it was. We were watching the shit, and it scared the hell out of me. 'Cause I'm
Okay,
like,
then.
wait a minute, so you're telling me these things can move on their own?
Yes, they can.
You had your scary Teddy Ruxpin doll.
I wasn't scared of that.
You're scared of the clown
There's
on
a
the bicycle.
clown on a bike. Yeah, that thing. I don't know, because it was motorized and that thing would ride its bike on its own. I'm like, man, you know what else that thing could do on its own?
Stab me.
Probably kill me to death.
If you think about
Oh,
it,
at least it kills you to death.
Kill
instead
me
of-
to death.
Instead of just
Kill me-
killing you to
it'll
half
keep
death.
killing me. It'll keep killing me till I'm
if you
dead.
think about that, it was a creepy thing to have. It was a clown that you turn the switch on and it would pedal a bicycle. Yeah, that was the toy.
It was like the big wheel in the front kind.
the small wheel in the back.
Someone
Yeah.
gave to you this as a toy?
I don't know where we had.
Yeah, you had it in your room.
I had it
Someone
in my
gave to
room.
you.
I mean, my parents gave it to me. I don't know where else I would have got it.
Here, son, have a haunted doll.
I don't know if it was haunted. I'm pretty sure I might have been the first owner. Maybe I don't know. I don't even know where it came from.
I think it was a gift, but
It just showed up one day.
we just kept it.
It's like, all right, cool.
I
got a
came
cool
home
new
from
toy.
school and there was a clown on a bike in my room, and I'm like, "Hey, this isn't suspicious at all because I'm 5,
That is
6.
funny.
When do you
I'm
go to
down
school?
with
I don't
any
know.
kind of toy.
You're a creepy clown.
They'll talk to you at night.
I don't know. That thing scared me though. I did not want any part of that. I remember I put it I think it was on the top of this
Yes,
bookshelf.
yeah.
I think I tried giving it to my mom like 3 or 4 times. Like, here, take it back.
And it mysteriously came back into your room. No.
Hated
Sounds
that
like you had a
stupid
very
doll.
mean big brother.
Yeah, he was kind of a dick.
I think what big brothers do. That's all. That's all.
That was still fun though.
All right.
All right.
So
Right.
tell us about the episode we're gonna have here today.
Oh, we're not just gonna bullshit.
Like, maybe we
We
can.
are. We are going to. We're a little bit, but we had a topic all picked out, and I had a busy weekend, burning my legs at work. Didn't have time to research the topic that we were gonna originally talk about, so we're gonna save that for another episode. But this week we are talking about the Winchester Mystery House,
All right.
located in San Jose, California. And if you have not been there, I highly recommend it. It is haunted. I've been there, and I know there are spirits there.
And it's in San Jose.
Yeah, San Jose, California. If I remember correctly, it took me about 8 hours from Anaheim to get up there.
Okay.
Because we did Disneyland, Universal Studios, and then the Winchester House. So for those of you that don't know what the Winchester House, or doesn't even know, or if you've been living under a rock and you're a Democrat and you don't know what a gun is, just kidding. Nope. no politics here. The Winchester Repeating Firearms is a gun manufacturer.
Yep.
And has been for a very long time. In 1881, the owner of Winchester Firearms, I believe his name was William, passed away of tuberculosis. And his son had died before that. And they ended up, because his son, and he died, the entire fortune basically went to Sarah Winchester. She got, I think, 50% of the company.
Yep.
And basically, like, her income was, she had this huge income. She was getting roughly, like $1,000 a day as her income from this company, which nowadays would equate to about $26,000 a day.
Plus, you got an initial amount as well,
Yeah.
2 or 3 million, or something like that, I think, which is equivalent to like $500 million today.
Damn.
Yeah, she had a huge fortune. So she ended up getting like 20.5 million, which
Oh, 20 million.
yeah, 20.5 million is what she inherited, which according to today's standards, it would be about $543 million.
$500 million.
And then, like I said, she got 50% of the company, and her payout basically was like $1,000 a day. Then, like I said, now $2,000 or $26,000 a day now.
Jeez.
Can you imagine making 26 grand a day?
I would love to make $26,000 a day.
And I think, I might be wrong, but I think Winchester had a contract with the government, right? I think Winchester was building a lot of firearms for the government. That's why they had so much.
Yeah, I believe they were using them for I think they were used a lot during the Civil War.
Right.
For one of the sides. I think it was the Union Army.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, if you watch the god awful movie, and it's actually not that bad. It's kind of entertaining. They just didn't end it very well. But
Well, it starts off in a weird spot, too.
it does.
Which one?
The movie, the
The
Winchester.
Winchester,
Oh,
the
okay.
Winchester movie that came out in like 2018 or 2018. I think
Yeah.
it was.
That's one of those movies, right, where they just took like a real event and then just made up their own story.
Yeah, the whole
Okay.
story is like completely fabricated. I mean, the only part of it that's true is the fact that
Who the
It's called Winchester.
it
Just kidding.
Sarah Winchester was in it. And
It was in San Jose.
It was in San Jose, and
And there was a mansion.
there was
That's
yeah,
about-
pretty much.
And they said, all right,
I mean, they did actually they did a lot of research on this, and they actually built the set and replicated the exact mansion.
Oh, interesting.
For the movie. So, I mean, the movie obviously wasn't shot in the mansion, but it was basically replicated to the way it looks, exactly the way it looks. So, after she inherited all this money, right? Excuse me. Goddamn Invisalign. It makes it hard to talk sometimes. So she had one of her daughters ended up dying of a disease called I cannot read. Hold on. Marsimus? I don't know how to pronounce that word.
Marzipan.
It's not marzipan.
Overdose of marzipan.
Yeah, it's like a children's disease where the body kind of wastes away.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
It's a child disease where their body wastes away.
that's what it says.
That's terrible. You
So-
need to find a cure for this.
Marasmus.
Marasmus?
That's what it says.
Yeah, that I can't read.
You need to find a cure for this. This is terrible.
I can't read. I can't talk. But I
Have
have
we
a
not fixed this
podcast.
yet?
This was back in 1881, 82, somewhere in there.
And we're still having this problem today?
Yep.
Holy Marasmus.
Oh man. I lost my train of thought. No, so she ended up talking to like a medium. I think she went to a medium for
Oh, yeah.
comfort. She lived in Connecticut, like New Haven, Connecticut, I believe. Went and saw this medium from Boston. And this lady's like, you need to spend all of your money building a house.
Move west.
Move out west and build a home.
And I think a lot of these people were full of shit back then, too.
They were pretty much. I mean, if you know anything about
Charlatans.
if you know anything about the 1800s spiritualist movement, The Fox sisters are the two that come to mind.
That tricked everybody.
Yeah, they would do stuff like they would have it rigged up to where the table would shake during like seances and stuff like that. There were a lot of fakes that came forward, and one of my favorite things is I don't know when Houdini was alive. I don't remember the exact time, but Houdini actually kind of set out to disprove all of these gifted mediums and psychics and stuff like that. He made it a point to try to prove that they were frauds.
I like that.
Yeah, there's Houdini's got some stuff, some ties to the paranormal. But anyways, this medium's like, you need to move out west and build a house, basically. And so she went to California, San Jose, and found this unfinished farmhouse that wasn't very big at the time, and she just started having it built. And there was really no rhyme or reason. She didn't have an architect involved. She just hired a bunch of people and had them start building rooms on the house.
It sounded like purposefully she did not want an architect. She wanted to just haphazardly just build and add and change and
like she would build stuff and then sometimes she would have it torn down and redone. But this house was basically under construction from the time she bought it in 1886 till the time she died in 1922. So this entire time, the house was under construction. I think there was one night where the work stopped, and I think it was like one worker stopped. I can't remember if all the workers stopped, but she fired the person, and from then on, no one ever stopped unless they were given the okay from her to stop. But they were building day and night, 24/7. They were just building. They built all sorts of random stuff there's windows that look into other parts of the house. There's stairs that go up into the floor, boards above it.
go nowhere.
There's a door that literally there's a sign above that says the door to nowhere. When you're inside, you open the door. You don't want to walk out it because you're falling two stories to the.
Because Beaker, you toured this house. Right?
I have toured the house.
Yeah.
I went there a couple of years ago. They had two tours that they offered at the time, just the regular tour and then they had the one they called the Explore More tour. And the Explore More tour showed they actually took you up into the attic and showed some of the upstairs. They also took you down in the cellar and the basement, which was on the regular tour. There's so many things put into this house. There was Tiffany himself, the guy that ended up founding the jewelry.
Oh.
Built this really nice stained glass window that if the light hit it right at a certain time of day, it would cast a rainbow.
Nice.
This was installed. This was the most expensive window in the house, and it was installed in the middle of the house in a room where the sun would never hit it, so you don't actually get to see the cool effect of the rainbow. But I think back then, I think it was $13,000 or $12,000, something like that, which is, a lot nowadays.
Yeah, because his stained glass stuff goes for the millions now.
Yeah, this is.
I know that's something that Tiffany does.
That's what he got his business started doing. He started off doing stained glass.
I didn't know that. That's kind of interesting. The things you learn on the EVP podcast.
And I guess they're all in St. Augustine.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
There's a bunch in St. Augustine. And I guess there's a church there where the outside of it, you can't tell it's there. They had to put bulletproof glass on it so people can't throw rocks and break it. People are dicks.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
I think that's why they have these really strict rules when you're in the Winchester Mansion doing the tours. You're not allowed to touch anything. They don't want
Put all your bouncy balls away, everybody.
Well,
those are the worst window breakers.
They don't want pretty much everything in the house is made out of redwood because it was Sarah's favorite type of wood.
Right.
But she didn't like the look of it, so she would have them can do a faux pas grain and stain on it to make it look like a different kind of wood, but it's actually all redwood. I'm not.
How did you know? How is it your favorite, but you hate the way it looks?
It's pretty strong wood.
But God, is it ugly?
I actually like redwood.
What's wrong with it?
So I don't like this redwood. I want more of a cherry wood.
There's a stain we could put on.
Yeah.
I guess they covered up a lot of it, but it says they used approximately 2,500 gallons of paint to paint this house. I mean,
Wow.
there's so much. I mean, this house originally, when they were first building it, they got it up to like 7 stories,
Wow.
7 floors.
What did it start off as? 1, 2 stories?
It was like a 1-story, like unfinished farmhouse.
Oh my gosh.
And she just, when they start the tour, they start it in like the farmhouse, like where the carriages would like normally pull up.
Uh-huh.
On the back end of the house, I believe, and then they just went crazy with this. Like they built so much stuff. It was 7 stories up until the big earthquake in 1906 that knocked off the top 3 stories.
That's
And they
nuts.
and they never built it back up. They just kept it with the 4 stories. But when you go on the tour, when you're looking around, they actually show you some of the rooms where there's still like visible damage from the
Oh,
earthquake.
interesting. I was reading that this house is also built on some type of foundation where it does kind of, because of
Quicksand.
that Bay Area is known for earthquakes. It's kind of the whole house kind of moves a little bit instead of like being rooted with a big foundation. So
Yeah,
that-
it's
that
a lot
helped
of
from
the
whole
house
house being
isn't like
damaged.
connected to the main brick and foundation like that. It's designed to sway.
Yeah, so otherwise probably with that big earthquake, the whole house would have been rubble. But because of the foundation they use, only the top 3 levels were taken down.
I remember there's like one room where like open up this like cabinet, like a cupboard. Like inside the cupboard is like a smaller cupboard. I mean, there was just all sorts of random stuff.
Was this a cupboard for ants?
I know she did a lot of stuff that dealt with like 13s. There was a
purpose?
Yeah, on purpose.
Oh.
So there was a chandelier that they had installed, and it had like 12 candelabras on it, 12 candle holders, and they actually soldered and attached a 13th candle holder to the chandelier.
Did you hear why?
They'd have to.
I mean, I know that
Probably
There was a reason to it. It's something to do with.
Probably that same psychic that she talked to.
Well, I know 13. The number 13 has some significance.
I mean, she
As
did
a,
a lot
as
of
a
stuff
former
with
gang
13s,
member,
like-
I know that 13. Just kidding.
There's like certain windows or
There's a
certain
street
like
wheel.
there's like certain designs in the ceiling. If I remember correctly, there was like 13 squares or whatever, and like she did a lot of stuff with dealing with 13s. And I know like if I remember correctly, around like midnight when they were building the house and that, they'd ring the bell like 13 times or.
So let her know we're done. Can we sleep now? Mrs.
But-
Winchester, may we sleep, please?
I mean the whole house is just crazy big and just all sorts of weird random stuff.
Now, who gave her the idea to keep nonstop expanding, tearing down, rebuilding? Where's
So
she get the
basically,
idea?
it started with that medium that told her to
Oh, the
move
medium
out,
told her that too?
told her to move west and build a house.
Because
So
I thought, go ahead.
the theory, the reason why she was told to do this, is because she owned half of the Winchester firearms. So what she was told, or what the theory is that.
And I thought I read that maybe her husband told her because of the explanation you were going to give. But I have no
It's-
idea if that's
well,
true or not.
No, because he died in 1881. She bought the house in like 1884.
Oh, okay. All right.
So she bought it like
So
3
that
years
was
after
definitely
he
wrong
died.
what I
Yeah.
read. But continue.
So it was basically she was told she needed to keep building and building to more or less like appease and confuse the spirits of people that were killed by Winchester firearms. Like she was supposedly convinced that if she didn't do this, like the spirits were going to come after her. So they built all this random ass shit in this house to confuse the spirits and keep them away from her. And I think she had like something like 40 bedrooms. 40.
Wow.
So there's there's 40 bedrooms. So the whole house right now, 161 rooms in the house.
Jeez.
40 of those are bedrooms. They had 2 ballrooms. One's not finished. There's also 47 fireplaces in this house. There's 10,000 panes of glass, 17 chimneys. There's 2 basement levels and 3 elevators in the house. At its biggest, the property was 162 acres.
Wow.
Now they've got it down to about 4.5, and that's just the mansion and like surrounding buildings. And it was weird when I got there to the mansion. Like for some reason, I just had it in my head, and maybe it was because of the movie that it's just going to be out in a field,
Yeah.
in the middle of
That's kind of
nowhere.
what comes to my head when you say Victorian farmhouse. I'm thinking, yeah, it's out in
Yeah.
the field. Yeah.
So it was right off of a main street in San Jose. We actually walked from our hotel there, and
Oh.
it was just busy streets. So there's like an empty parking lot on one side, parking garage on the other side. But like back in the day, all of this was like her land. Like she owned this, and a lot of her money didn't come just from the Winchester fortune. She actually owned a lot of orchards
Oh, I didn't know that.
and grew different like fruits or whatever, and she would sell those. That's where she got a lot of her income as well.
Oh,
So
okay.
she had money from the firearms, the company, but she also had money coming in from all the produce and stuff that she was making and selling.
Okay. And who owns it now? Does
I think it's a historical landmark now, so I think the government or the state owns it.
okay. Well, now, when you were there, what's going on with it? Are they doing anything with it besides tours, or was it just like a tour?
They were actually doing construction.
Has it ended, huh?
No, there was some like unfinished stuff in the attic and stuff that they were adding onto and making bigger.
For what purpose, though?
I don't remember why they said
There
it.
was a purpose. They give you an
They,
explanation.
they
though, huh?
did have a purpose to it, and I don't remember. I'd love to go back and see what it looks like now, but I remember it was up in the attic, the upstairs stuff. This is stuff they showed us on the Explore More tour. It wasn't something you saw on the regular tour, but they were doing construction. They were like kind of touching stuff up, and I think they were making some stuff more structurally sound.
Did you hear about during the whole pandemic, they were doing some kind of virtual tours, and
I didn't.
so they were having virtual tours during this pandemic, and then I also saw something I remember, and it just dawned on me just now. I forgot all about this. I should have looked this part up. There was some type of an investigation that happened there during the pandemic,
Okay.
and that was being televised, and something pretty wild happened during that, I think.
Do you know who did that?
I do not know who did that. But I know it happened during the pandemic, and it was being broadcasted. And I don't remember what company was broadcasting it either. Maybe it was just on their website.
And it was on TV, like.
Not TV, but I think you had to go to their website to watch the stream of it,
Oh.
maybe. But yeah, they were streaming the live investigation.
Interesting.
That's kind of cool. I
I'll
wish
look that
I
up.
wish I had seen that.
I forgot all about that, and that just dawned on me just
I
now.
mean, this house was, despite all the other crazy stuff I've already mentioned, they had several bathrooms. I think only one of them actually worked. It was, again, said to confuse the spirits. One of the other things she did is she never slept in the same bedroom 2 nights in a row. She would change bedrooms every night. She'd sleep in a different room. Again, it was to confuse the spirits. I know there was a little seance room that they had too that
Oh, interesting.
supposedly every night she would go into this little seance room and communicate with the spirits, and that's where she got some of the inspiration for how she built the house or had it built.
So she was doing that.
I know they touched on that in the movie. They showed her doing that in a room. She was like a study room area. looking thing.
Well, this room was weird because it's not very big, and it's just a square room. And I remember just like outside the room, there was like a little tiny one. Like Sarah Winchester was small; she was like 5'3". She was a tiny, tiny lady, and there was a room where she could overlook like out this window and down into like the kitchen area, like where the servants and that worked, and she could watch them and see what they were doing. But if you were on the ground floor looking up in that mirror, because she was so short, you couldn't see her. But she could see everything that was going on below her.
Sounds like a control freak.
I remember there was like a little garden in the middle of the house, and the floors were like tilted, so when they watered the plants, the water would all go one way and like down like a little indoor like rain gutter thing. But the seance room there was 2 doors. One you could come in, but you couldn't leave that door. You had to go out the other door, unless you left that door propped open. So the way the door you come in, once that was closed, you couldn't open it from inside the room. You had to go out the other door.
Interesting. So I know she didn't use any architects. But I wonder where she got these ideas from. Just so the builders like, hey, think of something kooky, or if she came up with these ideas. No, I'm really curious about all these like secrets and
Well, I know one of the things, the reason why that she had it done was there's a stairway that has like 170 some odd stairs, and you're only going up about 6 feet. It's this windy staircase, and each stair is probably about an inch thick or an inch tall. And the reason for that is she had really bad arthritis in her feet, and it was hard for her to walk up the bigger stairs. So they actually made all these little tiny riser stairs. Like I said, they were only about an inch tall, and it wound around this like little hallway thing to go up to the second floor. And it was just because it hurt too much for her to lift her feet.
That
But yeah,
makes
it was
sense.
literally just like six feet you're going up,
So it's gonna take her an hour.
but it was like 100 and some odd
hitting
stairs.
each one of those little steps.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Do you think there were spirits in the house while they were building all of it?
While they were building it, I'm not sure. There were definitely spirits there when I was there, and a lot of them seemed like they were spirits of people that helped build the house. So I'm assuming if one of those people died while they were doing the construction, they might have been
Or
there.
spent most of their life working on it?
Yeah, because I don't see like someone dying in war too worried about the gun manufacturer that killed them.
Yeah, I think that was just a bunch of mumbo jumbo that these mediums back then
Snake
were just
oil
yeah.
salesman.
like telling them all these things they have to do to keep doing. Like, no one needs to do all that shit.
Right.
Like, you need to do. I think maybe they were trying to incorporate like the way the was it the Catholicism, where you have to do 20 Hail Marys and you have to do this and this and this to make things right with God. So I wonder if like these mediums were kind of basing off their things kind of off that, going, okay, this is what you got to do to make things right. You got to do this.
Probably. So the house is actually owned by Winchester Investments LLC.
All right. So the gun manufacturer owns the property.
Yeah, but it is a historical landmark, so it's not like something that could just
Right.
be
I
torn
wonder if she
down.
donated it or something.
I don't know.
They
Yeah, she-
stopped all construction the moment she died, though, didn't they?
Yeah, when she died, yeah, they stopped.
Until recently, apparently, and they keep working on it. Now, it makes sense they want to make it, structurally sound. Is that what you said? That makes sense. Because as they build, it's going to, I don't know, the west wing will be a lot heavier than the east wing. I don't know. But, I mean, that makes sense. All right, so, Baker, you said that when you were there, definitely there's spirits there. So, please elaborate.
Okay, so the one that I actually kind of it was weird. When we were in the gift shop,
Okay.
so it's kind of a separate building from the main like mansion or the house itself.
Okay.
You're in the gift shop, and that's where you buy the tickets for the tour and all that. They had a little cafeteria. We're sitting there eating lunch before our tour started, and I could feel the energy of the spirits in the main house. And the second we stepped foot in the actual house, like that all shut down for me. I couldn't feel the energy of like any spirits in the house anymore. Brandy was still able to see them and hear them. Obviously, like she wasn't shut down, but when we were there, I didn't feel. I mean, the whole thing was like I said, she was trying to ward off like the spirits that were like angry with her. There were no malevolent, malicious spirits in the house
Okay.
that I felt. Like I said, it all felt like, when I could feel it, it just felt like people that had worked on the house
Okay.
that were still attached to it. Now, there was one spirit. There was only one spirit once I actually got in the house that I was able to pick up on, and Brandy was actually able to confirm this. But it was Sarah Winchester herself. Was in one of the bedrooms. It was like her main bedroom.
That makes sense.
While we were on the tour of the main bedroom, it was a room that was like off to the side, but she was there, sitting there, just kind of watching. And what I think is the reason why she's there is like when when this was being built, people thought she was nuts. I mean, they kind of touched that.
Sure.
They touch on that a little bit in the movie. Like the movie starts out with they're sending this like doctor guy out to the mansion. I think someone that's hired by the Winchester, like the people that owned the other half of the company. They see her spending all this money on this house.
Yeah.
So, and this is in the movie. I don't know. I'm sure this didn't actually happen, but they hire this doctor to go out and see if she's of sound mind and body, because they're trying to get the company from her. That's kind of the premise of the movie is like, she's crazy. Go confirm this for us so we can take over control of the company.
But then the doctor goes crazy.
But the doctor goes crazy because he's doing.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, no, he's doing like ether or some drug like that.
Oh, jeez.
Yes. So, but the whole thing is like they say there's malevolent spirits there, and there wasn't any at all.
Okay.
But yeah, people thought she was crazy, so no one really came to see the house. The only people that really saw the house were the workers, and for me, kind of the feeling that I got was with the way the mansion is now, where they're doing the tours and whatnot, and they're showing people around the house and talking about all the different parts of the mansion and what's been done there. I think she's enjoying the fact that people are actually finally coming to her house and enjoying what she had built.
I wonder if she had like visitors come while she was living there, or like, hey, come check out my wacky fun house that I'm working on over here.
Don't go out that door.
As far as I know, no.
Was she like a recluse? I wonder if she was like a recluse and just stayed to herself all the time.
I think so.
Just the impression I get from reading stories about her.
It's kind of like I don't think she really left the house much. Like I said, she didn't really get a whole lot of visitors just because people thought she was crazy and they thought it was weird what she was doing. And I mean, granted, yeah, it is kind of weird when you got someone with all this money that's just constantly building a house that's under construction for 20 years, 30 years almost.
I wonder what kind of seances she was doing.
Oh, that's a good question.
And
who
like, what kind of communication was she doing?
That's a good question.
I would assume maybe her kids that passed away and her husband. That's what I'd assume. But who else, right? Or what kind of guidance was she looking for? Because probably that medium out in New York, probably, that the end of when she moved out to San Jose, she probably cut ties there. I wonder if she sought out other mediums or psychics or what else? Because I know one thing I was reading that she was very into ghosts. So that's and that's why she was like, yeah, that makes sense. Let me keep this house under construction all the time and confuse these ghosts so they don't come after me gold.
And you'd think too, like, how are you gonna confuse a ghost by sleeping in a different room? Like the ghost is just gonna be like, oh, she got me.
She's not in here.
She was here yesterday. But I don't know what to do now. I'm just gonna call it a night.
There's 100 rooms here, guys. I don't know how we're gonna find her. Yeah, I mean, logically, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, like, especially being into spirits and kind of having some kind of an understanding of them, and to think that you're gonna just trick them by sleeping in a different room.
Well, yeah, the thing, this is the early 1900s. Like,
I know.
turn
I'm
of the
just
century, but
saying.
They didn't. I mean, they obviously didn't have the knowledge that we have today.
I mean, if you're into spirits and into the paranormal, and you've been making contact with spirits, and you're communicating and having a discussion with somebody who with some kind of I don't know what word to use right now. I'm just drawing a blank, but you're responding, they're responding, and it's anyway, you're having a conversation with it, and you think, okay, their conscious is working, whatever, but I'll trick you by sleeping in another
Right.
room.
And now I'm curious, who is she doing these seances with? So who's she trying to communicate with? Who is she communicating with? And who's with her?
I mean, is she having guests come over when she's doing them?
Yeah. Is she doing them solo? Is she have no neighbors
And
or
it sounds
friends?
like she has been doing them solo, but that's what it looked like in the movie, anyways.
But that's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah.
Who knows what you're opening But I mean, obviously, she seemed to live a long life. Apparently, do you know how old she was when she passed? Natural causes. I'm assuming as well.
No, I don't know how old she was.
I'm curious.
But I don't know. I just think that that's kind of silly to think that I don't know. It seems very juvenile to think that that would make sense. Like if you told a little kid that, and he'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, that totally makes sense. Keep building."
Yeah,
But
yeah. I wonder who. So she died. So she was born 1839, died in 22. So
almost
what is that?
90.
Yeah, about that.
That's a good long life.
82 or 83. About 82 or 83
Yeah.
years old. Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I just think I don't know. I wouldn't be fooled by that.
If you were a ghost.
Yeah, if I was a ghost going, totally got me. I'm gonna go in this spooky ass house. Oh, I'm gonna go out this door and fall to my death.
Yeah.
Oh, they keep killing me to
Well,
death
you know
over
what?
here.
You got to think that she's got some type of knowledge to think that because her company, her husband's company, manufactured the weapon that killed the individual, that spirit would come after them. She's got some type of knowledge. So to think all these other thoughts kind of does seem a lot, I guess you say it, juvenile.
Yeah, it just seemed. I don't know. Even that thought, like I remember hearing about this house as a kid, and hearing the story about how this house was built to house these spirits, and as a kid going, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But now, the hell no, that
Not
makes
house them though.
well, kind of,
I guess if they were there,
yeah,
she's trying to escape them.
yeah, and then they're gonna, if they're coming after her, like they're just gonna instead of on their way to her, they're gonna go, oh, well, what's this house first? Before I get to her, you've seen this wacky house over here? I'm gonna go in here, and then just get trapped by all these wacky doors and stairs that go nowhere. They just all of a sudden get trapped in there or what?
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense because now, how would if the spirits tracked her to that house? I'm sure they'll track her in whatever room she's in.
But she doesn't live in that house that's being built on. She lives in a separate house, right?
No, she lived in the house.
It's
About.
oh, but it's just like a different quarter of the house that's they're doing that too. Okay, but
So
she didn't ever like stay in that section of the house ever.
no, she stayed in different parts of the house. I mean, there's bedrooms all over the house. So if she actually stayed in a different room every night, then it could have been all over the house. So what's interesting is I just found a website, and I was trying to look up the reason why she did things in 13s. And the article is actually the top 10 lies about the Winchester Mansion.
I saw something about a lie saying that they didn't actually work around the clock.
Yeah, that's actually the first one. The house was under construction for 38 years. Apparently, there was actually letters and stuff from Sarah herself that mentioned she'd send workers away for months at a time, according to this the local historian. I'd be interested in I wish I could actually sit down and talk to Sarah herself and be like, what really happened?
Summon her through a seance.
Just do a seance.
So yeah, apparently she would actually send people away for months at a time and then have them come back and build. The second lie apparently is that she was ashamed of the rifle legacy, which I don't remember ever reading that anywhere, but apparently she was ashamed of it, but according to this historian, she actually wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I'm just going to skim these real quick. The third one is that Sarah Winchester constructed weird features in order to confuse spirits. Apparently that is also not true. I guess there's no evidence to support that. Fourth is that she had a secret room for seances. According to the historian, and this does make sense to me because they did show us this room on the tour. Say this was her seance room, but thinking back, what I kind of what he's saying here and what I know about the spiritualist movement of the 1800s, and I mentioned the Foxes and stuff like that. This was like a social gathering. Seances were. This is something you'd have a party, like you'd get a bunch of people around and you'd conduct a seance. So at the time, I guess it wouldn't really make sense. According to this historian, it wouldn't make sense for her to be doing these seances in secret by herself because it's a whole social thing.
Uh-huh.
And the next one is that she was obsessed with the number 13. According to this guy, that this is all stuff that was added on after the fact, after she passed away. Like there's a closet that has like 13 hooks. They were added sometime after she passed away. And it almost makes it sound like he's trying to say that they did this stuff to the house to like hype up the spookiness of the house, I guess. And I guess the next lie is that how I mentioned she would look out the window and inspire her employees. Apparently, this is also not true, according to this guy. The house looks today as it did then. I haven't read that anywhere else, but apparently that's not true. Number 8 is she snubbed the president of the United States. I've never heard that before,
Heard
but
that.
Okay.
the house is publicly owned. I haven't heard that one either. And then after her death, no one stepped forward to tell the truth. Apparently, there was neighbors and workers that talked about what actually happened in the house. So I'd be curious to actually like go and read this more, but yeah, apparently half of the stuff that we just talked about, according to this one historian, says none of it's true.
Interesting.
What we do know is there's a lot of houses, there's a lot of rooms and stuff that goes to nowhere that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I wonder what her goal was then.
I don't know. Maybe there was just some story that she came up with to keep people away. I don't know.
We're just waiting to
Yeah.
keep spending money.
I guess.
Don't make any
I got all
sense.
this money. I don't know what to do with it. I need to build this house.
What happened to the fortune now?
It went away.
Just
I know when
disappeared.
she died, it went to one of her kids, I believe.
So she died of heart failure.
What year was that?
1922. Okay. So yeah, she lived a good life. It seems like.
I do want to go visit that. I want to check that out. Isn't there like a castle up by there that way too?
Yeah. It's actually on the way. So we went up like was it 70 or something like that, 75 or whatever that's in California. There's a castle if you go towards the coast of California. There's this castle. One of the guys at work was telling me about it, and I wanted to make a stop there, but there's like this is probably one of the most expensive castles in California. I'm like, this dude had a lot of money. He'd have like exotic animals like shipped in.
wow.
I've seen like pictures of stuff. Like we'll have to do a little. I don't remember everything about that right now to like go into more detail about it, but it's a very interesting house. I'll have to look it up and show it to you guys when we're done recording here. But I feel like this is a very bland episode, but yay.
It's all good.
Watch the movie if you are bored and want to see nothing that's true about the Winchester Mansion.
Is it good though? The movie good? Like,
It's
is the spook factor or something?
it's got like jumpy moments. I
Yeah,
guess.
Okay.
there's a lot of jump scares, and then just it's like a really interesting and weird way to try to explain why the earthquake in 1906 happened.
All right.
Yeah, it plays on the whole fact that, or the supposed fact that she was doing this to appease or to confuse the spirits of people killed by the firearms.
Okay.
So, it's one of those like maybe sit down and watch maybe once. Like I bought it just because I collect movies, but it's not like run out and go watch it right now type of thing.
'Cause,
It's
yeah,
just like-
this in the movie.
it's on Netflix. Watch it for free.
In the movie, it was like the house was already haunted, and it was
Yeah.
full of spirits already.
Yeah.
And
This is sort of based on a true story.
The rooms were built based on the spirits.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
Yeah, it was kind of lame. I mean, how many people had died by those guns by that point? Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
And there's just like five in there, 5 spirits in the house. Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely worth traveling to San Jose.
How many spirits are in there now? When you guys went, did you pick up on?
13. I don't know.
I was like, no way.
I want to say 7 or 8.
Okay.
So nothing that's not that many, especially for something that big.
Yep.
Interesting.
There wasn't a whole lot. I mean, there was a bunch, but and they were all over the place. One was in the basement, which is funny because like Brandy could see it, and they had like a light. They had a light rigged up to make it flicker every now and then to make it look like a ghost was playing with the light.
Oh, geez.
It was kind of funny, but
It's a prop light.
yeah, it was. I mean, it was a fun tour. I think the tour was like an hour long, walking through this big ass house. But
Okay.
if anything, like even if you're not into the paranormal, if you want to see some really cool, weird architecture, go check this place out. It was fun to walk around.
Okay.
That's gonna be cool. I'll check that place out. There's so much in California I haven't done yet.
There's so much everywhere I haven't done.
True.
I want to try to do more trips and more haunted locations to talk about on the show, which is my lead into the topic for next week. Like we mentioned, Ghosty was in Austin, Texas. So
Yes, I was.
our next episode will be his adventures.
It'll be one of the locations that I went and checked out over there.
Awesome.
It's a pretty cool trip too. Austin's it's a party town. I didn't get a party, but I was there. Well,
So yeah, thanks for listening.
thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching on the YouTubes. I think a lot of people, like I told someone that we were on YouTube and they're like, oh, I'm going to watch there instead.
That's why we do it. Different platforms to find us on.
I'm glad that we've got the audio working properly for the camera. So the audio on the video is the same as on Spotify and iHeartRadio and Apple Podcasts.
Excellent.
By the way, for the two of you that have given us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcast, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, guys.
One was me. Just kidding. No, it wasn't.
One of
the
them-
other was me.
One of them actually left a comment and said, "You guys are hilarious. Can't wait for more episodes." So
Who's does it say
or
the
something
name?
like that. It probably has their handle, their tag or whatever. It doesn't have their actual name, but yeah, we do have 2 5-star reviews, so we really appreciate that. If you want to go and give us a 5-star review, do
Let's
it.
turn it into 200, guys.
Yeah, don't do anything less than 5 stars. I don't think it will let you.
It was ZPod4466.
What was the exact comment?
You guys are amazing. Can't wait for more.
Well, here's another one for you.
I hope this one lives up to the rest.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening and watching. Peace out.
Bye.
Peace out, butterflies.
This is the EVP Podcast.